Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Analysis for IAS 2025. It is 5th August today and we are going to discuss these 7 important articles which were present in the Hindu newspaper. You know, every day we upload 2 videos on this YouTube channel. In the first one, we discuss the daily news analysis for IAS 2025. We take up the most important articles which are relevant for your exam. We try to break them into the simplest language possible so that it would be easy for you to understand the topic. And in the evening session, we upload the daily quiz session in which we discuss the questions with respect to the current affairs itself so that it will help you revise your current affairs and also give you an idea how the questions from the current affairs can be framed in the exam. And also we discuss few previous year questions in that video also so that it will give you an idea how the questions do come in the exam and what are the methods by which you can solve those questions. Before we start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel and share this video with your friends so maybe they will also get benefited from this. And also please do ignore my voice today because I am suffering from severe cold. I have some viral infection, so I hope you will understand it. Now, looking at the topics which we have to discuss today, the first topic it is about the protests in Bangladesh. We had taken a class recently about the protests in Bangladesh, about the reservation quota policy in Bangladesh for the sons and grandsons of the freedom fighters. So with respect that we had discussed it, and right now the claim of the protesters is something different. We will discuss it in detail. After that, we will discuss about the Kerala asks center to declare landslides as a national disaster. So, what would be the impact of this declaration as national disaster? So, we will discuss it also in detail. Then we will discuss about the controversial statements, made by the Assam CM. About the policies he is going to bring in. We will discuss about them. Then we will discuss about the Godavari River Management Board to meet. After that, we will discuss about the Ladakh. It should be governed by the Ladakhis. And this is the statement made by the MP from Ladakh in parliament. And after that, there is a news on the Gaza as they face another siege, like we had seen the uprise of the polio virus there. And finally, the last article, which would be about the balancing competition and sustainability for India. Now, without any delay, let's look at the first topic which we have to discuss today. You know, about the protest in Bangladesh, right now, why we had brought in this news. Let's discuss first about the current news, then we will go into the background of this. Right now, the protesters are demanding PM Sheikh Hasina's resignation. Authorities, with respect that authorities had shut down the mobile internet and enforced a nationwide curfew for an indefinite period. And also it was mentioned that the government there has issued 3 days holidays in the Bangladesh itself. And also, about the protesters Sunday, protesters were joined by the unidentified people and activists of the right-wing Islami Shahotantra Andolan. They of that right-wing party the protesters were from, and they had joined the protests. And also because of that, the government had shut down the internet. And the statement made by the Miss Hasina, the PM of the Bangladesh, she said that these engaging in the sabotage across the country in the name of protests are not students, but they are the terrorists. So this was about current news. They had labeled these protesters as terrorists. But what led to this huge spread of protest in Bangladesh? If we would see, last night itself, 94 people were killed. Many hundreds got injured. What is the reason for that? Actually, this the background goes back to the 1970s when the Bangladesh got its freedom from Pakistan in 1971, and Mujibur Rahman, he introduced a quota policy for the in the jobs of the in the government jobs for those belonging to the families of the freedom fighters, for the sons and grandsons of the freedom fighters. And this quota, it was given, quota was 30% for the sons and grandsons of the freedom fighters. And also, with respect to that, and if we, it is not only that much quota was given, for the 10% was given to the backward classes, 10% to the women, and 1% to the physically disabled people. So when we, in nutshell, when we, add sum this up, it comes to this almost 66 56% quota was given, 56 reservation percent reservation was given to the people. So it was not, it did not go well with the general category people, because for a country to develop well, this we need, this reservation needs to be come down. Okay, that everybody in the country will get enough opportunity to participate in the development of the country, to everybody will get the enough opportunity to get the jobs. So with respect to that, the parliament in the 2018, they tried to scrap this quota for the sons and grandsons of the freedom fighters. But the as the high court in Bangladesh, they that intervened and stayed the order of the parliament. But that led to the huge protest in the country. Students came out on in the streets, and they demanded that this quota system should be scrapped at all. And in fact, the Supreme Court was going to take this case in the month, so little bit later, but Supreme Court was forced to take the case earlier. And then the Supreme Court gave the judgment that it scrapped this quota from 30% to 7% for the sons and grandsons of the children. In fact, 5% for the sons and grandsons of the children, 1% for the tribal population, and 1% for the other people. But unfortunately, students, they want this quota system to end at all, and they want a reservation free country, so they are still protesting. With respect to that, this PM Sheikh Hasina, she made a derogatory commentary regarding the protesting people. She said that these are the Razakars. This Razakars term is very much abusive for the people of Bangladesh, because this Razakars term, it goes back to the Pakistan era, when they those were the volunteers of the Pakistan who wanted to control the situation in you know in Bangladesh, who wanted to be under the Pakistani rule. So they were treated by locals as the Deshdrohi, you can say. They were treated like that. So this statement of the PM Sheikh Hasina to the people, to the students who were protesting, this was very derogatory for them. And that did not went well with the students, and they continued the protest, and they are still demanding that they either this prime minister should resign. But there we see the tendency of dictatorship in Bangladesh. If you will go back to 2023, in the December or early 2024, we had seen elections in the Bangladesh, and the majority of the opposition parties were banned. The leaders were in the jail. We had seen the tendency of dictatorship in the country of Bangladesh. We had and as in India, as India, who is the who is the promoter of the democracy. Right now, the India was in a position where they have to criticize this action of the Bangladesh, but at the same time, the Sheikh Hasina government is going very well with India, so they cannot criticize that much to them. But still, they have to, for the humanity's sake. The democracy is is being destroyed in that country. There is total dictatorship going on. The opposition leaders are under arrest. Bangladesh में इतनी dictatorship चल रही है कि it is said that even Pakistan does not have that much dictatorship. How much कि Bangladesh में their main opposition leaders are in jail. So because of that, there was no opposition to the government, and they won the elections. So there is a tendency of dictatorship in Bangladesh, and people are not happy with the leader. So let us see where this country moves forward, what will happen to this country. So this was about the protest in Bangladesh, about the job quota scheme which was brought up in 1970s itself, as sons and job quotas for sons and grandsons of the freedom fighters. This seems very nonsense to us, because if the quotas are for the mentally physically disabled or scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, that is something understandable. But for sons and grandsons of the freedom fighters, it is something, there we see that there is मतलब कि फर्क हो जाता है citizens में. There is discrimination among the citizens, that they were the people who supported the cause of the freedom, they will get benefit, and those who did not support it or who remained silent, they did not get the benefit. So this is very derogatory, this is very discriminative in nature. So this should be removed. As we are the advocates of the democracy, we should support the cause of the students. Now moving forward, another article, it talks about the Kerala asks center to declare landslides as national disaster. We had seen in the recent 4 to 5 days, we are continuously seeing about the Wayanad disaster. The landslides in Wayanad, killing more than 200 people in that disaster, and it had a devastated impact on at least 3 villages in Wayanad in Kerala. So with respect to that, Kerala CM, he demanded that this disaster should be declared as the national disaster. So with respect to that, the Union Ministry of State for Tourism, he toured the disaster zone on Sunday and said the center had to adhere to several modalities and was weighing the legality of the demand, how legal this demand is from the Kerala government. So they would discuss about it. So here the question arises, why the Kerala government is demanding for the national disaster for this disaster. What could be the impact of that if it is given the status of the national disaster? It will definitely have the fiscal impact. So let's see. Officials believe declaring the landslide as a national disaster would allow the union government to channel more resources for rehabilitation and climate change mitigation activities. So more resources would be given to the Kerala if it is declared as the national disaster. So right now, the authorities are looking into the matter. They are looking into how much the claims from the central, from the state government are withstanding the norms of calling any disaster as a national disaster. So let us see what the center would discuss about it, what they would say about it. So in this article, what we discussed, we saw, let us recap this article once again. We saw that because of the devastating impact of the landslides in the villages of Wayanad, there is huge property loss, villages got destroyed, and more than 200 people got killed in this disaster. So with respect to that, they say that the Kerala government, they are demanding from the state, from the central government, to call it as a national disaster. So here the question arises, what would be the benefits if this disaster would be called a national disaster? So here the solution would be fiscal related. It would allow union government to channel more resources for rehabilitation and climate change mitigation activities. And also right now the government is looking into the matter, and they will see how legal the demands are from the Kerala government. So this was about that Kerala asked the center to declare landslides as the national disaster. Now moving to the another small article of today's discussion, it is about the controversial policies to bring in by Assam CM. Recently while addressing the state executive committee meeting of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Guwahati, the present CM of the Assam, he mentioned 2 to 3 policies which he is about to bring in. The first one, the new domicile policy will be implemented to make only those born in the state eligible for the job. As Assam CM said, a new domicile policy will be implemented to make only those born in the state eligible for the government job. While addressing a state executive committee meeting of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Guwahati, he also said the coalition government has been sticking to a pre-poll promise to provide 1 lakh jobs. So with respect to that, New domicile policy will be implemented to make only those born in the state eligible for the government jobs. And also he also mentioned about the shift in the policy regarding inter-religion land transfers. He said that there would be no buying and selling of land between Hindus and Muslims. That will not take place without the consent from the CM, without the approval from the CM of the state. So it will definitely impact the right to trade. It will impact money, fundamental articles. And also he talked about the inter-religious marriages. He talked about the imprisonment for the case of love jihad. About love jihad, it is the concept very wide spread in the right wing of the right wing of the majority religion in our country, where it is said that usually the Muslims for they marry Hindu woman for the basically that is a concept of love jihad, in which they uh, they fall in they make a Hindu girl fall in love with her and convert their religion into Islam. So this is actually a vague concept. There is no such concept in Islam itself. So, but these are the allegations from the right wing politics of our country. So there is nothing such about it. So these were the few controversial policies to bring in by the CM. We will see the impact of these. We will see how the constitution will respond to it. We will see whether when these things will definitely go to the Supreme Court, and we will see how the courts would respond to these things. So it would be very much interesting. Coming days would be very much interesting with respect to these statements from the Assam CM. Now moving forward to the another article after the discussion, it talks about the Godavari River Management Board meet on 13th August 2024. In this, during the meeting, Telangana will submit the detailed project report of the Sitarama lift irrigation scheme, which is SRI Sitarama SLIS scheme, and Sitama Sagar multi-purpose project. About the Sitarama lift irrigation scheme, it will supplement water supply to 5.45 lakh acres of land in the tail end areas of the Naga Arjuna Sagar left canal in Khammam, Bhadradi, Kothagidam and Mahabaliabad districts. Mahababulabad districts. So it would, this Sitarama lift irrigation scheme, it will supplement water supply to 3.4 lakh acres of land in the tail end areas of the Nagarjuna Sagar left canal. And about the Sitarama Sagar multi-purpose project, the second component, Sitarama Sagar, a multi-purpose project, it is proposed to generate 280 megawatt of hydroelectric electric power. So in this Godavari River Management Board, which is going to meet on 13th August, in this meet, the Telangana will submit the detailed project report of these two schemes which they are going to bring in. So this was in this, let's recap what we understood. It will give the detailed project report of the Sitarama lift irrigation scheme and Sitama Sagar multi-purpose project. About the Sitarama lift irrigation scheme, it will supplement water supply to 3.4 lakh acres of land in the tail end areas of the Nagarjuna Sagar left canal. And about the second component, Sitama Sagar, a multi-purpose project, it is proposed to generate 280 megawatt of hydroelectric power. So these are the future proposals, and the Telangana government would be working on it. So let us, these articles, these Sitarama lift irrigation scheme and Sitama Sagar multi-purpose project become important for your prelims exam. Now forward to the another article of today's discussion. It is about the Ladakh should be governed by the Ladakhis. According to the MP, he mentioned it in the during an interview that he discussed about the condition of Ladakh right now. It has been 5 years after Ladakh became UT. When the state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated, Article 370 was revoked, and 35A. So with respect that Jammu and Kashmir was divided into two UTs, UT of Ladakh and UT of Jammu and Kashmir. And with respect to the Ladakh, 5 years had been, and it is without the legislative assembly. There is no legislative assembly in UT of Ladakh, and also a very interesting thing which has happened, there has not been a single recruitment for a gazetted position till now. Not a single recruitment has completed for the gazetted post till now. So this is very much annoying and very much surprising. Also, if we will see, because of this worsening condition of the Ladakh, the educated youth had been hit the hardest, because they are that population of the state which cannot work in the Manrega schemes like that. They cannot work, do the low skill jobs, because they are highly educated. It is against their you know their standards to work in low standard jobs, to work in low skilled jobs. So the educated youth had been hit the hardest, because the state is not able to even recruit not even state has, the UT has not even recruited a single gazetted officer during this time. Not a single gazetted post has been recruited in these 5 years. Also, if we should know that residents, with respect that the residents of the Leh and Ladakh, they took to streets to demand their cultural identity, land and jobs be protected from outsiders. With respect to that, the Leh apex body and the Kargil Democratic Alliance, they came together to demand the full statehood for the Union Territory of Ladakh. And also they demanded that this should be included in the sixth schedule for the protection of the tribal areas. They also sought job reservation for residents and more parliamentary representation. For example, with the two Lok Sabha seats and one Rajya Sabha seats. These are the demands of the Leh Apex Body and the Kargil Democratic Alliance, as they came together. These now, right now we can see these are the demands of the people of Leh and Kargil, and also they are demanding that the Ladakh resident certificate should be mandatory for the jobs. Like we have domicile for different states. Similarly, they want this domicile for Ladakh residents. After that, only the jobs that should be the mandatory for the jobs in Ladakh. So these are few of the demands what they are wanting, that they should be included. They should be given the full statehood, and they should be included in the sixth schedule, where their tribal areas will be protected, and they will have autonomous district councils which will deal with their working. So in nutshell, what they wanted, what their demand is, that they should be, you know, they should be controlled. The Ladakh should be governed by Ladakhis itself. Because they believe that they had been hit the most after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. So this was about the Ladakh should be governed by Ladakhis. Now coming to another article of today's discussion, it talks about the Gaza faces another siege stalked by polio. Since the Gaza war started from last October, you know, there has been devastating events in the Gaza. People are dying like cattle there. And there is no humanitarian aid for them. They are dying. The children are dying. Even the newborn babies had rotten into the, you know, after they get born, they died there because of the attacks from the Israeli army. So the condition of Gaza, Palestinian in Gaza is very worse because of the attacks from Israel. There is no humanitarian aid, and nothing is there. But unfortunately now, the Israeli health ministry, they had found the traces of polio found in the sewage flowing out of the Gaza. This is very astonishing and very impactful for the people in Gaza, because with respect to this, first we should know that there are only 1/3 of the Gaza's hospitals working. Of there were 36 hospitals. Of the 36, only 1/3 of the Gaza's hospitals are working. And also about the polio virus, we should know one thing: it is an obligate human pathogen. It can replicate only inside the cells of the human body. The virus cannot has no other known animal reservoir. So from this we can conclude one thing, that the polio has already infected the people in Gaza. They are already suffering from the polio virus right now. But right now, as it has been traced in the sewage, the Israeli defense forces, they responded by initiating a campaign to vaccinate its soldiers in Gaza, and those started to enter the Gaza. So basically, they are thinking of themselves right now. They least care about people in Gaza, and also the conditions of the people is very worse in Gaza. So this was about the Gaza facing another siege stoked by the polio. Let's recap. After this devastation from the war, we had some environmental impacts of the war. We see not only people die because of the weaponry from the because of the harsh weaponry made by the human, but also people die because of the natural disadvantage, because of the natural impacts, the impacts the war has on the climate. This leads to the death of the people. Right now we are seeing that infections are spreading in the Gaza, different diseases are spreading, and right now we are seeing that polio has been found in the sewage flowing out of the Gaza. And about this, let's recap it once more. If the polio is flowing out of the Gaza, and about polio we should know one thing: the poliovirus is an obligate human pathogen. That is, it can only replicate only inside in the human cells. So what does that mean? It means that the poliovirus has already affected the humans there. So as there is no other reservoir for poliovirus rather than humans, so it is definitely that the humans are getting infected by the poliovirus there. So with respect to that, the Israeli Defense Forces responded by initiating a campaign to vaccinate its soldiers in Gaza, and those started to enter there. So this was about the Gaza facing another siege stalked by polio. Now moving to the another topic of today's discussion. It is very interesting, and it can become little bit complicated, but let's try to break it very simply. Here the topic is about balancing competition and sustainability for India. you know Agar if we will look at the heading of the topic itself, it is something, there should be the balance between the competition and sustainability of the business, sustainability of the company. For example, there are many companies working in a country. For example, if we'll take an example of social media, here we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have other WhatsApp, we have other Twitter, we have, and other companies we have. There is competition between them, and uh, because of that competition there is no monopoly of in the market there. मतलब कि कोई monopoly किसी एक चीज की monopoly नहीं चलती. Everybody is working in the market, and because of that it leads to the sustainability. It leads जब competition रहता है, so there is a need for the sustainability. Sustainability we have to understand in different ways. For first, sustainability of the economy, sustainability of the मतलब के emissions. For example, these companies lead to, we have different companies right now. We talked about the e-commerce only. We have automobile companies, the emissions they lead to. So the control of the emissions, the impact of the environment, the impact of the global environment, the impact of the different laws in the competition and sustainability for the India. So with respect to that, let's try to simplify this article here. First, we should know that markets are the center of the economy. From barter system to digital marketplaces, from its market started from the barter system, where you know what is barter system. There was no currency. You would give something, for example of aata doge or aate ke badle of chai ki patti loge. So this is barter trade, and the trade started from the barter system till the digital market. Right now we are doing eBay, we are doing Amazon, we are doing Flipkart and all that. So this is the change. And one important thing about all this is forces of supply and demand are responsible for the price determination and consumer preferences. The forces of supply and demand are the main are responsible for price determination and consumers preferences. The how much there is a supply of anything and what is the demand of that thing, so it defines the price of that commodity, and it defines the the consumer preference also. So and also because of the climate change disturbs the supply side of the market, leading to mismatch between the supply and demand. Here comes the impact of the climate change. When the climate change is there, we had seen during the COVID-19 how the supply got disturbed, and there was mismatch between supply and demand. So climate does play its role. With respect to that, in 2023 the SEBI introduced a framework for reporting actions towards sustainability by corporates. The revised framework for the business responsibility and sustainability report requires company to account for their value chain environmental impact. They have to account, the companies have to account for the value chain environmental impact, how much during the value chain, during the formation of anything what they are working on, what is the impact of the what how much they impact the environment. They have to account for that. Enhancing transparency, they have to enhance the transparency where where the important things are not hidden from the people, and combating greenwashing. For example, there is patent for anything, with respect to the patents, with respect to the clean energy or something like that. There is no greenwashing with respect to that, so they have to combat this. So companies you know have to account for the value chain environmental impact. They have to account for enhancing transparency and combating greenwashing. And also with respect to that, we should know that the authorities must focus on encouraging companies to pursue sustainability goals. Here we have the example of Japan's anti-monopoly act approach towards realization of green society, how it focused on the sustainability goals. Then we have the European Commission's recently published the draft of the revised guidelines on the horizontal agreement, which now has a specific section on sustainability agreement. So Mala, what is the concept behind this? With the competition, there should be the balance of the sustainability. There should be, everything should be looked in. For example, impact of the climate change should be looked in. With respect that the Competition Commission of India may also explore possibilities of including sustainability policies in its evaluation. Right now India has pledged to net zero emission to by 2070, and right now we are the fifth largest producers of harmful gases with respect to the zero emissions. So we have to, the Competition Commission of India, that can balance this, sustainability with the balancing with that can balance this sustainability, that can balance this by bringing up the norms, by bringing up the laws by which they can reduce the impact of this environment change. They can reduce the impact. They can reduce this impact of how they can reduce this with respect to the sustainability with respect, and they can balance this competition and sustainability in India in a better way. I hope I did not made it complicated for you. If there are any changes which I should bring in my teaching style, please do write in the comments, and do share this video with your friends. With this, we complete today's discussion. I hope you understood it, and please share it with your friends. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much.